from what you were saying, it's very indicative that you have very analytical and detail-driven consciousness towards the music that you do. Would you say this is something that it's natural to you, that this is a talent that you've always had? Or would you say this is a sort of a quality that you developed throughout the years?
Both. Both. Obviously, when somebody becomes a musician or artist, you have to have an inclination to begin. So you are inclined to be that person. So you have to have an understanding, and as you go, you develop it, and you get tuned to it even more. So you get attuned to it. I have an idea on this where, that there are geometry.
Yeah.
Geometry is true.
Mm-hmm.
Math, I can challenge math. I went to, originally I was going to be a scientist. I went to school for kids for special math skills and whatnot. So I was theoretical mathematics for 3 hours a day, every day when I was in school. That was my jam, and I was going to be an astrophysician. But yeah, that was my...
I so want to, by the way, just hop on that topic, because I'm an engineer, is an education, and I'm so fascinated by astrophysics right now. And I'm so inclined to just hop on that topic, but please...
You're going to stop these guys from stopping us.
Yeah.
So I, in a very early age, I started this when I was 7 years old. Like 7, they put me to a special school, and I was jamming then, but I loved it. And then I got to the point I started to challenge pillars of theoretical math, because I'm not sure that you guys are right. I think you're wrong. There are certain ideas, that I thought like, well, it's not actually true, and I think it's going to be challenged.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was going through it. I realized that what I can't challenge is geometry.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started to be obvious to me that also how the human mind works. It's a very linear working object, because we are tied to this timeline. We were born and we will die, and whatever happens is consequential, right? So because of that, we are linearly thinking. Also because of our physiology, our most important senses are eyes, and so information coming at us, right? So therefore, we develop this: what happens, what's coming at us. So there's this very specific way that we think. Everything is perceived linearly, and I was fairly young when I started to realize, like, well, there are some issues with this. You know what I mean? Like, I started to realize that I'm getting frustrated by the human mind is not capable of understanding certain concepts. When I say infinity, intellectually you understand it, but you can never perceive it. You cannot process it.
Yeah.
You can understand it, but your mind can't process it, right? And then I start to find some answers how. Okay, everything is a vibration.
Yeah.
Right? We know that. What matter is, it's, debatable. Is it a vibration? Right? So we started to look at this, and if everything is vibration, and we humans are capable of perceiving certain spectrums of that vibration, but it's still vibration. All of it is vibration, right? And, our eyes see a certain spectrum, or ears hear a certain spectrum, but it's all vibration. So I started to realize, like, well, music is a masterful manipulation of these vibrations. And I also started to realize that they also correlate with geometry. I don't know if you know cymatics.
Sort of.
So when you, let's say liquid or sand or any, or a Newtonian liquid, these materials, when they're being hit with very specific frequencies, they draw these very distinct, geometrical shapes. So that's how the material rearrange itself on a certain sound. So, and that's geometry. And so all of a sudden, my mathematical mind and being heavy duty in that path, and music just made sense. Like, oh, this is one and the same.
Yeah.
So then I started to understand, like, technically, this is a science. And now, this is to me more practical than anything. Geometry is practical because we use it in architecture. Theoretical math and, like even Einstein theory is actually, do we have practical applications?
No,
not really.
It's not theoretical.
Not really. So, there's a lot of these theories. From string theories, you can go all day long. And they're just theories, but they don't have practical application. But here's music. I can manipulate frequencies and vibrations, and I can create these crazy harmonies, and it will affect you as a person.
Yeah.
And what are we? We are perception. We don't even know what are we actually, but be aware that something's happening. We have a perception of something happening around us. That's the only thing we know, right? And again, we're limited to specific spectrums, and the human mind, it's a natural condition, cannot understand certain concepts. It's like an elephant will never drive a go-kart. It's just, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. Physiologically not possible. Well, don't challenge me on that, because somebody going to call me an elephant, like, man, I have an elephant, but, who knows. But, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, here's this thing, music. And I can actually reach in and change how you feel. I can reach in, or I can give you an idea or a concept, or relay something that I felt or I know. And when I tell you something, right, you ask me like, how did or that felt? Yeah. It's very difficult to explain, because I'm going to use words, right? Now, we're speaking English right now, but in any language, words kind of mean different things. There are certain limitations. And the words are just like a really poor man's version of second-hand information, because I have to use a library that's limited. Like you can't explain a blind person what blue is. Exactly. You can't, right? Yeah. So if I want to tell you how it felt to be standing on the top of the Himalayas victorious, I kind of can, but you will never feel it. Yeah. But music with lyrics can get you closer to that. So it's a much better communication I can give you where it's going to go. And I tell you the truth, I think where the future is going, this newfound freedom, people going after blockchain and going after cryptocurrencies and Web3, this is all about people realizing the freedom and what we don't have freedom in, and what freedom really means. It's all connected. This is not an accident that this is happening right now. But I'm looking at it from the musician's perspective, and I'm looking at it like, man, this metaverse can give me another tool. Yeah. Imagine if I can, this would be virtual reality, let's say, not augmented reality, but virtual reality when you completely close away from, so it's completely virtual, you are away from the natural environment, and I can paint you a picture, give you lyrics and music, and then I can give you even more how I can give you a feeling. Because what are us humans? Basically, we just share an experience, and we validate each other. Did you see that? Did you hear that? Did you feel that way? Right? But that's all we got.
Just a social implication of,
But we're all alone and we're all clueless. We have no fucking idea, excuse my language, of what's happening. We just know that I'm alive, I think, and all this thing is going on. And the only way I can validate it is that we converse. Because there's another consciousness that seems to be independent from me, right? Because it can contradict me even, so it must be independent of me in some way. And now we can discuss, does it look this way? Is this feel that way? Is this true? So that's all we have. So the most important thing that humans can have is this conversation. So then what's more important than figuring out in what way I can share something with another person so it's validated? That's what this is to me.
I mean, from the very early stages of my life, I've always been fascinated by music, because I've always, I've realized that this is the only way that I can impact other people.
Right.
And from a philosophical perspective, obviously, in the essence of every person's consciousness, you seek, as you said, validation. You want to mean something for someone else,
right,
because this gives you this sort of value, right, and I'm so, happy to see another person's perspective towards this point, because I think that many people neglect the importance of music from this angle.
Right.
You literally connect with people.
Right.
It's such a beautiful process, right?
Yes. And the thing is about what you just said, like that when we talk about the validation, it's not even the validation, you said validation and volume. And it's not that necessarily looking for that, do we have value? It's not that kind of value. It's more the question of our existence have a reason. Does it have a value of what do we contribute to this giant universe where we are in a suburbs of this galaxy in a small little star, right? And I just read it yesterday, like they realized like actually there are more than 20 trillion galaxies out there, much more than they thought, and then that multiplied by 200 to 500 million stars. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's an inconceivable number, right? And so, what do we, humans, in this corner of this, this galaxy, in this insignificant solar system. What do we do? What do we have to say? See what I mean? So, well, I do have some crazy theories though, because even if when it comes to aliens, right?
Yeah.
When with these numbers, it's inconceivable that we are all alone. It's inconceivable.
Yeah.
And plus, I usually don't talk about this openly, but I had some experiences that I know we're not alone.
Really?
But yeah. But even if even if you look at it from the mathematical perspective, like this would be impossible that we are alone. Then here's an interesting thought. Whatever other species, and there are millions of them most likely, if not billions, are out there, they have the same dilemma. You know why? Because they all have to live in this three-dimensional universe. And as long as they live in the same three-dimensional universe, right, it's like the fish in the ocean. They're only the same ocean. And this is a shark, that's a goopy, who cares? They're both fish. We are just a different species, grew up in a different planet, but still, we belong to your life.
Yeah.
And because we live in this particular universe, we all have the same questions. Because I know that it doesn't matter how intelligent your species is, it can be maybe 1 billion years old, and you're technologically so advanced beyond anything, you still don't know what the plan is.
Yeah.
Because you cannot. It's like the idea of there's a fish in the ocean, and this fish is in the ocean alive for 1 billion years. They see it went everywhere, saw every coral reef, every one of them, every sea floor, everything, right? And the fish cannot tell you, oh, I understand the ocean. I live here for 1 billion years, and I saw every single coral reef. No, you don't. You don't know what the ocean is. Because you're in it. You don't know that this ocean is on the planet, and this planet is in a galaxy, or in the solar system, and so forth. So we're in a galaxy, in the universe, and so you cannot know, even though you think you know the ocean, you cannot know because you're in it. Then, we understand three-dimensional space because from a 3D I can look at the paper.
And you can,
But you can't look at the three-dimensional space from 4 dimensions, so you're never going to understand it. And as long as any other species exist in this universe, they have the same problem. And they have the same questions we do. Where the fuck did they come from? What is this? What is going on?
It's all leading to that. It's all leading to that.
Now, so, and here we are musicians, and I manipulate the most basic building element of the universe, vibration.
That's so beautiful.
I make coherent, logical harmonies and rhythm, and I'm playing with the fabric of the universe. That's what a musician does. To me, okay, I'll do that. That's pretty good.
That's beautiful.